Hey y'all, welcome to Cat's Hobby Corner. Hey guys, good morning. I am running around. I just got back in and I'm going to take a quick tour of the garden and let y'all see what's going on out here. Well, I always like to start, and I'm going to make sure I come in and pinch off. This is my pak choy. Pinch off these flowers. We don't want it blooming yet because I am still picking these to use in some of my soups I've been making. So we don't want any of these flower buds coming up right now because it will change the flavor of the leaves. And I'm going to come back out here and do a harvesting of the pak choy leaves. I need to spray. I've got something on that one. Okay, so we're going to go ahead on and break that one off. Okay, because we don't want anything to spread from a leaf that's already been eaten on. And I'm also going to do a good spraying of diatomaceous earth on the remaining leaves, but I'm going to harvest a lot of this today. And then we also have our regular lettuce, and I'm going to harvest a lot of this as well for our salads. But that bean is doing really well for salad and pak choy. Y'all know we bought the lemon tree and we transplanted it. It already had some of these curled up leaves, but I'm still doing research to follow up and see what I need to do to keep it growing. And it seems to be doing okay up here, but we're going to do a little bit more research, make sure everything's okay. Y'all know we have our herb table. This is the rosemary I transplanted the other day. I believe this is lavender. And I believe this is the basil that I planted. I've only got one or two little flowers coming up in there. This is the cilantro we did the other day. As you can see, it's still doing its thing. And these are just some strawberry runners that I cut off from the strawberry patch, because we want to make sure the strawberries are doing everything they need to do. We can see here, as far as our okra goes, that all of our little okras are coming in and they are doing what they need to do. So I'm not really worried about that. I will say, I think it's my fault about the corn, but I planted corn over here, but as you all can see, there's all kinds of stuff growing in there, and I think that was in the compost, and or didn't completely die out. And for a minute I had a bird feeder near here, and I'm thinking some of the bird feed went over in here and contributed to some of the foolishness that we have going on here. But as the corn gets taller, I'll be able to discern what's corn and what is a weed that I need to get rid of. So we're not going to worry about that for now. Our potatoes are doing well. I think I'm going to add a little bit more dirt. These are our red golds that we planted. And yeah, I'm definitely going to add a little bit more soil to this. And we have red golds over here. I need to add some soil to that. We have Kennebecs here, and they're doing well. I'm not really worried about adding too much dirt just yet, but I will be. And we got Kennebecs in here, but they are doing well. All right, moving right along. Y'all see we planted sunflowers on the front side here of our berry vine, and the sunflowers are doing well. I was going to just clip off the smaller sunflower, but I was telling Kay about it, picking the strongest one that was growing, but he said I might as well just leave them all growing. So That's why we have all these sunflowers. And these are the mammoth sunflowers that get to 6 to 10 feet tall. And they're gorgeous. Just beautiful yellow leaves and just a really nice center. Mama Blackberry is still trucking along, y'all. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with her. I do believe some birds maybe were landing and breaking some of these, but she's still got growth going in her. And I still only see one berry patch. I'm hoping it'll get better as the summer comes along. But for now, I'm just glad she's still alive and still doing her thing. So we're going to keep a watch out on her, and hopefully she'll get into her stride and begin to grow. We said our baby blackberries died. But this looks to be like a blackberry seed leaf. I don't know. We left it in here, but we also came and planted 2 blueberry plants that we saw. And I'm not sure if they'll do okay, but this one seems to be doing okay. It's starting to get some green leaves on it. So we'll see how that goes. Down here, I believe we have a blackberry, a raspberry. We might need to give a little water. This seems a little dry. I don't know. Just watching, seeing if anything comes up. Got a little green leaf there. And in here we have, I believe, 2 blueberry bushes. But this is really tough soil, so I'm not sure how well it'll go, but we'll just see. Oh, something's happening with our tomato here. These are the little tomatoes that we rescued, but the soil is moist. So I don't know what's happening here. We'll keep watching it. See how everything's doing. I think everything may need a good watering. Although we had some rain, things seem a little dry here. These are the 2 grape bushes that we purchased. Yeah, that's moist, so I don't need to put any water in there. It may just be acclimating to the heat of outdoors right now. Yeah, that's definitely moist. So we'll keep an eye out on it and see how those do. Down here at the cattle panel, we have Kentucky Wonders coming in. These are green beans, pole green beans. They look like they're doing well. So hopefully they'll continue to grow and get stronger, and they'll be able to latch onto the pole here. Over here we have some Blackeye Peas that we're just going to do in this little trellis area, and they've all broken through and look like they're doing well. Check that soil. Don't want to overwater, but at the same time you don't want, it's not too dry. And we see that one trying to push through. On the other side, we have a sweet pea. And of course, here's our asparagus. It's doing really well. Maybe next year we'll get asparagus that's the right size. But for now, it's doing well. It's into its fern state, which that's what we want. Okay, now this is our sweet pea. This is the only sweet pea that grew for some reason. I don't know. We may have to amend the soil along here a little better. But for now, it's the only sweet pea that grew. And so we've been babying it and watching it, letting it do its thing. But it seems to be doing okay. I told y'all we had a blackberry that got loose out of Mama Blackberry, and so we did set this aside and give it its own little space to grow. And it seems to be doing well. It's still got a few runners, so we are cutting back on some of the grass here so that it'll have room to grow, since it is in the ground now. But this is a thornless blackberry, just like Mama Blackberry up there. This is a thornless. All right, we have our spinach, and spinach is doing well. Y'all know we've been doing many harvests off of this spinach. And this was the newest spinach that we planted. It's doing well. We did some cauliflower here, and this soil just may be too clayey for it to do what we need it to do, but got to try to use everything you got. But this came from some of the soil around the yard, and this soil is, like I said, it's very heavy. Here's our other spinach bin, and it is doing well. We cleared out some of the weeds the other day and put down some preen, weed be gone, and everybody seems to be doing well. I need to clear some weeds out that side over there. We don't want any weeds competing with our vegetables. Here are our collard greens. We did a harvesting the other day. We also did a cleaning around the roots of weeds. Make sure we're keeping everything as best we can. All right, we've got some collard greens here as well. And I think we're gonna look at, we planted a few more that are trying to come up, but we're gonna try to plant just a few more here. Our carrot bushel is doing fine. These are the kaleidoscopes that we planted more of, and they are doing well. Pretty big stalks on them. When they start coming out the ground, we'll know that they're ready. Our raspberry cane is growing and doing its thing. Oh, looks like we've got a raspberry cane that's outside of the trellis, outside the border we put here. But this is a plant that will spread, so we'll need to be checking and seeing what we need to do. These canes, I've been told, can also get anywhere from 3 to 6 feet tall, maybe taller, depending on the type of growth that's going on and fertilizers that are being used. So we'll see how well it does. I'm hoping we'll get some raspberries off of it this year. All right, we've got our cabbage here. Cabbage seems to be doing okay. We'll keep watching it, spraying our diatomaceous earth to keep everything level and keep the bugs from eating too much. More collards over there. As I said, cabbage here. We've got our lettuce here. And actually, guys, these are lettuces that I did not plant. These are lettuces that were, I guess, in my compost from last year. And once I used the compost to put it in this broccoli bin, they started coming up. And I'm not one for killing anything. If it's growing, then it's meant to be there. So I just Let it keep going. Let's slide this over. Let it keep going. And this little area here has become our lettuce area. So even when we find lettuce that's growing in other areas, we bring it over here and put it in this section. As I said, these are our broccoli and cauliflowers. Not sure which is which at this point, but it's growing, and that's all that matters to me. Here's our apple tree. Check out those apples, guys. They're growing. Y'all see it in there? It's growing. I really like this method of putting the stocking on the apple, on the fruit, and letting it do its thing. Some are still small, but many of them have gotten pretty big. I definitely will want to use this method each year as we're growing apples. And I really like that the stocking really gives them room to push forward and keep going. Oh, that's a nice size one. These apples will be ready to harvest, I believe, in August. I want to say late August. They should be ready, and these are technically called Delicious Red. So you can see the size of them. But they're doing very well. All right, moving on from our apple tree. All right, we have our peach tree. Y'all know we planted this peach tree at the end of last fall, and we mulched the roots and things, trying to keep it through the winter to make sure nothing would happen to it. And I'm really glad to say it did surprise me when it bloomed. But we had about 8 originally on here, and y'all know I was using the 2 different bagging methods. I was using the sock method here, and I also was using the white bag method from Clem University. But the white bag did not work well. We had a lot of windstorms, and the day I came out and saw that the bag flipped over the branch, I knew there was no way that fruit lived through that or was still attached. So I came out, and sure enough, most of them had detached into the bags. And I still haven't done anything with them because I wanted to research to see if you could put them back in the ground and maybe get another plum tree, or if they weren't further enough developed along. But for now, I was able to keep 2, and you can see how big those are. And I put socks on them, and as you can imagine, the sock has more give when the wind is blowing than those bags did. Those bags were like little kites, even though I had them twist tied off really tight at the top around the branch, but they still loosened and began to flop around. So I know from now on I'm going to be using the stocking method because that just is more of a guarantee. Here we have, and that is a Belle of Georgia peach tree. Belle of Georgia peach tree. Here we have the Santa Rosa plum, and technically it's supposed to bloom in May. I don't really see a lot of blooming going on. I do see a lot of leaves, so I was pleased when we saw the leaves coming at the early spring, which meant it survived through the winter. This also was another plant that we purchased at the end of fall, going into winter last year. But depending on how old it is, it may have another year or 2 to actually produce. That's why I was so surprised when I saw the peach tree bloom. I thought maybe I had a year or 2 before it would do anything. because our apple tree is about 3 years old, I believe. And last year it only did two flowers on it. And I lost both the apples because I didn't understand about wrapping them up and securing them away from the bugs. But this year it was full of flowers. So I'm pleased with what we received so far. All right, moving right along. We have our garlic bin. Garlic seem to be doing okay. Y'all know I've cut off a few of these garlics when they're green to make some garlic seasoning. It was really strong. It was really surprising to see how strong it is. We also planted some bunching onions, and some of them are trying to come up. I know it's hard to see, but we do have some of them coming up. When we were doing the method in the house and we were going to try to transplant them, that didn't work out so well. So I've gone back to just straight seeding into the ground and seeing how that works. So we've got a few coming up. We're going to keep up with this soil. Let's see. It's pretty damp, so it doesn't need any watering. But so we've got evergreen bunching onions in the back, and we've got the garlics here on the front side. Alright, so here's our tomato bin, and we planted two types of tomatoes in this bin. We have the Beefsteak and we have the Arkansas Travelers. The Arkansas Travelers are supposed to be kind of like a pink color, and I've never used them before, so I'm excited to see what they do. Then we also planted some more of the Beefsteak tomatoes that we had from last year. Now the problem with last year, our beefsteaks, the packet actually ended up having some cherry size ones that I did not expect. Of course, I thought it was all going to be beef steak sized seeds in there, and maybe it was just a manufacturing issue. But we're hoping this year that it's done right and we have some beef steaks coming up. So we'll wait to see what's going on. Here we have our turnip greens, and we've already done one harvest. We've been spraying with diatomaceous earth. We still have a few little bugs going on, but we just continue to spray with the diatomaceous earth and let it start linger on the leaves, and that sort of prevents them from getting too crazy. I'm still having a few that I can see that they're munching on, but I'll let them have that as long as they don't take everything. All right, moving on. Here is our strawberry bin. And I'm really excited about the strawberry bin. We've got a lot of growth in here. We've got a lot of berries coming up in here. We're going to take the netting off in a minute because I do need to cut some of these runners to give more energy back to the mama strawberry plants. And I think I got a few that I need to harvest. So we're going to be taking this off in a minute and seeing what we're working with. Our blueberries are still here. They're doing fine. I'm not expected to get any blueberries this year because the Biloxi sunshine here, this is the sunshine that it would have cross-pollinated with. The Biloxi over there was dying at the time, and we just got it balanced out and bringing it back and put it to the front part of the bin. So we'll be working with this today and just keeping to the pH of the soil.
Hey guys, thanks for visiting Cat's Hobby Corner. Be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button so you'll get the content as we put up new videos. The channel's growing, and it's all because of you. Thanks again.